choice means that you can pick the blue one today and then tomorrow go pick the pink one and then after that go pick the red one. A decision is you pick the red one and then you throw everything else away. Are you struggling to make decisions in your business that can help propel you forward? So, this seems to be a struggle for a lot of business owners. I've seen it in the marketplace. You know that the idea may work and you're teetering between going after the idea and executing it with confidence and excellence. But for some reason, you have this apprehension that is holding you back from taking things to the next level, making decisions promptly that are going to be helpful towards your business. What we're going to talk about today is exactly how to do it now and decide to be great. Do it now and just decide to be great. So we're going to start as we always do as we're going through this series in Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. And I have a passage from one of the chapters. It says that in a country such as ours, where riches abound in every conceivable form, so it means no matter what kind of business you have, there are riches to be gained for you in that business, in that market space. You should erase any thoughts that see virtue in either lack or want. So, what Napoleon Hill and Dennis Kimbrough are basically saying is that you have to totally eradicate the thought processes that are keeping you from making decisions or causing you to want something. There's so much opportunity out here. You have to make a decision for your business for the better. And after you make that decision, a decision now, what is a decision? A decision is when it comes from the root word decide. So the day part of that word means to cut. You're cutting yourself off from any other option. That's what the word decision means, to cut from. You're cutting yourself from any other option. And since you're cutting yourself off from that option, now you're moving towards the outcomes that you're wanting to gain or working towards. Myron Golden says if it's not working for you, you're wrong. It's either working for you or it's working on you. Either way, it's working. It's going to work. And that's something that you have to start to believe and change your mental attitude about. This part of our series, this part of the book is so pivotal in reference to getting our mental attitudes, this success principle of making prompt decisions is one of the key factors in business owners and CEOs and successful people's success secret. They make a decision, they cut themselves off from any other options. They don't make a choice. A choice is when you choose between three things. So you got a red one, a blue one, and a pink one. A choice means that you can pick the blue one today and then tomorrow go pick the pink one and then after that go pick the red one. A decision is you pick the red one and then you throw everything else away. Okay? That's a decision. It's like when Neo was in the Matrix, he had to make a decision, the red pill or the blue pill. Which one are you going to take? One is going to lead you to a life of truth, and that's what decisions ultimately lead you to. Because usually, if you're making a decision, it's not necessarily an easy thing to cut yourself off from any other option. We know that. And so, since it's not an easy thing to cut yourself off from any other option, it's going to take you sacrificing whatever else you cut yourself off from. But we know that since you're having to make a decision of such magnitude, whichever road you choose to go down, that is probably the decision of the highest level of truth. Truth is the opposite of a lie. Truth cannot change. It's not like the what is true. What is true can change. So, like, for example, right now I'm sitting here talking to you guys, and that is true. But after I get done with this video, I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna go move around, I'm gonna go eat dinner, I'm gonna spend time with my family, I'm gonna work on other ideas, I'm gonna read a book. I won't be sitting in this place. Now, what is truth is once I upload this video, as long as I do not take it down, it will be on YouTube forever. That is truth. Does that make sense? Okay, awesome. Since that makes sense, we're going to move on. Now, as always, we're going to move into the Bible. We're going to reinforce this concept of cutting yourself off from any idea of want or lack. And we're going to back that up with some biblical principles. We're going to start with Philippians chapter 3, and we're going to be in verse 13. It says, Brethren, this is Paul talking to the Philippian church. It says, Brethren, I count not myself to have apprehended, but this one thing I do, forgetting those things which are where, forgetting those things which are behind, cutting yourself off from the lack mindset, from the want mindset, and reaching forth to those things which are ahead. Okay? So what Paul is saying is he's saying we have to reach forward, to reach forward. See, this is a kind of chronological step-by-step thing that Paul is saying. He's saying to reach forward, we have to cut ourselves off from the old mentalities, old thoughts, old lifestyles, old habits, old fears, old insecurities, old failures. We have to detach ourselves from the failures of the past. We have to decide, cut ourselves off from the failures of the past and press forward and reach forward to the future so that we can get out of the mentality of lack and want and explore and engage with the environment of life that is truly so abundant that we shouldn't have had the lack and want or believe the lie of lack and want anymore. We're going to make a decision to stand on the truth that there is enough in the marketplace for me. I don't have anything to prove to anybody. I don't have anything to hide from anybody. I don't have anything to be scared of. I know that I'm going to go out, and as long as I'm walking in the purpose that God placed in my heart, that I will have success in the marketplace, because that's just what the word says will happen if we cut ourselves off from the old mentality, old decisions, old way of doing things. We have no choice but to reach and move forward to the things that are ahead. So we're going to reinforce this again. We're going to back this up one more time with another piece of scripture over in Proverbs chapter 16, verses 31 through 30, 31 through 30, actually 32 through 33. It says, He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he that ruleth his spirit is better than he that taketh a city. The lot is cast into the lap of the whole, disposing thereof is the Lord's. Okay, now that one is a little bit more cryptic. So first we have to cut ourselves off from old beliefs. Number one. That's number one. We saw that in the Philippians chapter 3, verse 13. Cut yourself off from old beliefs. To make prompt decisions, you have to cut yourself off from old beliefs. Then we have to do what? Develop self disciplines. Now, you may not have caught it, but it says, I'm going to read that again. It says in chapter 32, he that is slow to anger is what? Better than the mighty. He that ruleth his spirit than he that taketh the city. So Solomon is explaining to us, when the wisest man's on earth, God said there will be no man as wise as Solomon in his day or to come, was inspired by the Lord our God to let us know that even if you're somebody who can conquer a city, if you've conquered a marketplace, but you don't have self-control, you don't have self-discipline, he's saying that you can conquer something sometime, once or twice. Because see, at the end it says, the lot is cast into the lap, but the whole disposing of there is the Lord's. Disposing is disposing in the Hebrew translation, that word literally means decision. The whole judgment is going to be the Lord's call, because God sees that you may be able to conquer a city or one area of life, or do this thing one time, or one off, or a two off, or every now and then. But he knows, he's trying to let us know that the person that keeps a good handle on their spirit, their discipline, their anger, that can control themselves, that's not going to allow themselves to be swayed by different circumstances or factors that come up, because that happens, is better than him that maybe can conquer a city once. Because Controlling your emotion, controlling your disposition, controlling your anger or your spirit, your mindset, your thoughts, those are things that help with your decision making. Oh, as a total, that's because the total sum, you are a total sum of your thoughts. So if you're consistently thinking and you're consistently having a negative spirit, then your outcomes, even if you can do something positive every now and then, is going to be consistently negative instead of consistently positive. But if you have a positive spirit, if you control your mindset, if you control your outcomes, if you are keep the reins on your spirit, like as if you're riding a horse, you got reins on your spirit, you got reins on your thoughts, your spirit and your thoughts, those things are connected. Sin is when we talk about even sin is a when it says talks about the trespasses of sin in the flesh, that word the flesh in the words literally means the mind. We have to be wary of the sin or evil and in temptation in our mind so that we can produce fruitful outcomes, because if we're not aware and and holding fast to the things that are ahead and cutting ourselves from the life of sin and unrighteousness, because now that we're see, here's the thing about decisions: when you cut yourself off from one thing, it frees you up to be fully invested, to be bound. There we go. When you cut yourself off from one chain, you're binding yourself to another. So when we cut ourselves off from sin, we're binding ourselves to the truth of our righteousness. Now we're bound to righteousness. So we're bound to the fruits of righteousness. And see, if we would go into the marketplace empowered, even as Christians and believers, and going into the marketplace saying, I know what I'm bound by, I know what I'm free from. I'm free from the evil, stinking thinking in my mind, the sin in my mind, the doubt in my mind. I know that I'm going to produce fruitful outcomes in my business. So, number one, what are we doing? We are cutting off old belief systems. Number two, what are we doing? We are using self-control, developing divine self-discipline. So first, we're cutting off old beliefs to stop making choices and to start making decisions. Then we're developing divine self-disciplines to expect God to provide divine results. Now, moving forward, and lastly, so I love this passage of scripture. It's going to be Proverbs, verse 10, chapter 4. And if you know it, awesome. If you don't, stay tuned. Just give me 1 second to find it. I had it, I was right there, but then I got excited and I closed my Bible. So, Proverbs 4 says, He that becometh poor dealeth with a slack hand, but the hand of the diligent maketh rich. So this goes back to what? Developing divine disciplines and cutting off poor choices. Now, he that deals with a slack hand will be poor, but he that deals with a diligent hand will be rich. So how does this make sense? You have to diligently respond with what you have. Once you've cut yourself off from old beliefs and developed divine disciplines, you are now equipped to make better decisions and to move forward in diligence to do what? To to make golden decisions. Now you can make golden decisions. Now that you've diligently responded with what you have, because you understand that if you don't dealing with a slack hand is almost like making a poor choice. Like if you ever played cards, you can choose this one or you can choose that one in this game. And then you can choose this one and that one in the next game. But if you keep choosing the wrong thing, you're dealing with a slack hand. You're not using the cards you're dealt to do the best with them. If you ever play spades, somebody who really knows how to play spades can beat somebody who has a handful of 4 or 5 spades. If they play and they only have 2 or 3 spades and a couple of high cards, because they know how to deal with the diligent hand. They know how to deal with what they have diligently. They make golden decisions that always gets them the win. Not thinking about anything negative, not thinking about wanting or lacking. They say, I know how to play my cards to get this, to get the outcome I'm looking for. So to recap, to make better decisions, you must what? Number one, cut yourself off from old beliefs and old choices so that you can make divine decisions. Stop making choices, start making decisions. Number two, you want to what? Make and develop divine habits so that you can expect God's divine results. Then number three, you want to respond diligently with what you have to make golden decisions. My name is Dylan Evans.